Welcome back to the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast, where Western Carolina Catamounts head coach Justin Gray joins the show. You remember him. He played with Chris Paul with the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, a shooter, a little bit better than me. Okay. But I covered tons of Wake Forest basketball games in those 4 years on ESPN radio. Thanks a lot, Justin, for checking in with me, man.
Hey, Kim, man, I appreciate you having me. I got one correction, though. Chris Paul played with me. Chris Paul played with me. I was there before he got there. We won a regular season ACC championship. Then he jumped on the ship, right? So I'm just messing with you. I always give people a hard time about that one. But
there you
thanks
go.
for having me, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, as we talk about the seasons, you play basketball in other countries, you learn the game. It's different as it's played in different places. So how did that overall experience become something gave you their extra help and knowledge as a head coach?
Yeah, I think just in general, I think teaching the game is people, so I had to be immersed in different cultures. We had coaches that didn't speak English sometimes, and the sign language, you know what I mean? It's just figuring out the game. But I think that's one of the biggest things is being able to handle people, handle different situations, handle adversities. I mean, that's what I do every single day. A space of what if, we always have a plan, we always have a vision, but there's always something that's going to pop up and living in the what if. And I've learned a different, magnitude of ways of handling that from coaches that I've been able to play up under and coaches that I've worked with, in my short career of college coaching. So all those things go up and mix it up. And I'm still evolving today, as a head coach and how I want to be. So I'm just looking for that challenge.
There you go. Now, I wanted to ask you, you can comment on the what if with these two guys. You played for Skip Prosser. He had an outstanding assistant there in Dino Gaudio. And then you were with Pat Kelsey, who was on that Wake Forest staff.
Yeah, I think, when you think about that staff, that was at Wake Forest, I mean, you had Chris Mack, who was on that staff. You had Gaudio, you had Jeff Battle. Like you mentioned, Pat Kelsey. Like all those guys came from that tree of Skip Prosser. And I think I don't far from that tree. Now, I probably didn't work underneath, but I played for Skip. So we have a group text of guys that played for him, and it's Skipisms. We drop those Skipisms all the time, and I do it all the time with our guys. And now our guys first day of classes was today, and I was in the group. It said, if you can't be on time, and then everybody be early. That's a Skipism. You know what I mean? It's just those things that just stick with you that, yes, they do. They do help you in college, but more importantly, they help you in life. And I think that's really, really why I'm coaching college basketball. I mean, just to be able to have a true impact on young men of this age group, like someone did for me, like Skip did for me, like Coach Gaudio did for me, like Pat Kelsey did for me. And he would always say the most important thing, the most valuable thing we have is our time, because we can't get it back. And what way to pay those things back rather than give up my time? And my wife loves me at home. My daughter loves it, and my son loves it. You know what I mean? They love seeing me every day, but I spend a lot of time in this office back, for things that people have done for me. And that's how I look at it. The ultimate goal is to have an impact. And I'm doing it through coaching college basketball. But if it wasn't this, guess what? I'll be having an impact on someone, that I interact with. It's just one of the things that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's an awesome deal. That kind of communication with people, it allows for a lot of things on and off the court.
Yep. Yes, indeed, man. I mean, they're human beings, as we found out with the DeMar Hamlin situation, and when it gets in those situations where it's like, whoa, life hits you, you realize at that moment is way bigger than the game, and a lot of these kids don't have backup plans. The backup plan is to make it. The first plan is to make it. The third plan is to make it. And we're here to say, okay, I understand that. I can help facilitate that. But you're a student athlete. That's where you have to be able to get the education, and after that, you can do whatever you want to do with it. So, we had those conversations all the time with our guys here at Western. I had those same conversations with the staffs that I played for, back in my playing day. And it's just a blessing to see those things coming full circle.
Sure. Now, I was going to ask you, Western Carolina is an improved team. You guys are playing everybody tough. You're playing them at a high level. I was curious, though, you're one of four Southern Conference teams that are tied up in there for fourth place with 3 losses. And we know this league is that innovative and that tough. So, what were you able to do to accentuate the improvement and get the Cats on board now to where they are?
Yeah, I think, the ultimate goal is to be competitive, and to win a championship. And I think our guys have really, really bought into that. But like you said, it's a ton of good coaches, man. This league is one of the toughest. If you think about last year and what Chat did, and they lost right there at the end of Wisconsin. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
right there. But not a couple weeks before, Furman lost at the buzzer. You know what I mean? So, like, it could have been one of those teams in there. Sanford's really good. Greensboro's really good. Wofford's really good. So it's a league where night in and night out, you have to be prepared. You have to be able to trust the game plan, play with discipline, and then try to do those things with consistency. Those are 3 things that we talk about daily in our program. And I think that our guys are starting to really buy into that. Then at the end of the day, it's talent. You know what I mean? When you go out and get a couple guys that can play and make some plays, and we've been able to do that and have some wins in recruiting. And the transfer portal has been good to us in that regards. Now it's just trying to build, we got some younger guys that we feel are really, really going to be good, and we can develop, having them, buy in and just continue to get better. And that's the ultimate goal for us. So we're 3-3, and I'll be honest, every time we go to a game, I'm trying to go 1-0. You know what I mean? Whatever the record is at the end of the year, that's what it is. And we have to be able to live with it and understand what things we did well, and also look at what things we did not so well, and where we can grow. So that's how I envision building a program, and not a team that's just here 1 year and then the next year they're not. I'm trying to build a program here.
Sure. Now your opponents. This I found this on KenPom actually have an average possession length of 16.7 seconds. So how does your defense foster them to have that level of possession time?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. The way that we guard, we try to protect the paint. We play a pack line defense like everybody, a lot of people do, and we just have to know our nose. We talk about knowing our nose is no middle, no second chance points, and no catch and shoot threes. And for us, so many people want to play fast and play quick, but when they can't get a good look at it first, you make them take that next look. And then if they get to the third option, now it's like, all right, we can guard them and make them play one-on-one a little bit. If we can do those things and then not give up a second possession, that's all we talk about, And then for us, guys love offense. And I tell them one way you're able to hoop is if you get a stop. You know what I mean? So if you get a stop, now we can get out and transition, and we can play all those fun drills in practice, like baseline touch, right? Everybody wants to play with advantages. How do you do that? You make people take tough shots. We want to make them make tough contested twos. Hopefully they get one that they don't think, and we can get out and we can run, and now we can play our style of basketball.
Sure. Now, Tyzhaun Claude is 14.9 points, 8.5 rebounds per game. He's been a major player on the boxes and in the paint for you.
Yeah. I mean, Ty's been awesome. I think it started with his leadership, and I think, what we did was we went out and we got guys that they felt like they had a chip on their shoulder at their previous university. They didn't think that they got a fair shake or the right kind of opportunity. So that was one thing we sold was opportunity, and the work that goes unseen at some point gets seen, so having our guys understand that. And he's been awesome as far as man in the paint, defensive rebound. I think last game he had 17 and 17. He's leading our conference in offensive rebounds. He goes after the ball with 2 hands. So he's been really, really good for us. But even he'll tell you, I got so much room to grow, coach. I'm trying to make sure that we're doing things that, And that's the right kind of mindset to have, never be satisfied, always understanding you're not here, you're always becoming.
Your 3-point game is also stellar. You make 9.5 per outing. Uh, it's 22nd in college basketball. Trey Jackson shoots 41.9%, while Russell Jones is over 40% as well. Matching up with those two guys is going to be a tough assignment for opponents, being that you can't give any of them a little room.
Yeah, I think another thing that happens, is, with Ty playing so well down low, we have Vontaze Woolbright. I think V's top 10 in scoring, second in rebounding, first in assists in our league. So, like, another big guard. I mean, he's 6'6", 6'7". We play him at point at times. So it's a matchup problem. So it's either, you help and just guys playing out of closeouts, and try to create a lot of closeouts. And Trey's been awesome, you know what I mean, as far as coming from Iowa State and, coming from that Power 5 level and having all the glitz and glamour, and then coming to this mid-major level where it's not so much that he was looking for an opportunity, and the opportunity outweighed, the building, or whatever the case may be. And that's what we sold. And so for him to come here and having some success and playing, we actually have 4 guys, that are averaging double figures, and all 4 guys have scored over 20 in a game. So that's a threat. When you got 4 guys that can go out and get 20 on a night, we like our group.
Vontaze Woolbright is a solid playmaker as well as a scorer, because he gets 4.4 assists per game at 7.3 rebounds.
Yes, it's a little bit of like Draymond Green. Rebounds the ball, assists the ball, and it's really hard for when you rebound, you take one bust out dribble and you advance the ball. That's how you play fast, so you can advance the ball, you can cross the side of court to try to make the defense change. And then again, he's a guy who has really, really good size that we try to take advantage of on mismatches.
Now, you had 6 out of 7 wins before you dropped a pair last week. So discuss the differences in how you played in picking those wins up versus the 2 losses.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's hard to win on the road,
Yep.
and it's hard to win on the road in college basketball when you're playing in conference. So when you look at those things, we sell that, those teams did exactly what they're supposed to do, and one thing we've been talking about is building a home court advantage of playing up here in Cullowhee and making sure our Ramsey Center is rocking and the students come out. So just being ready for the next time we're playing at home, which is tomorrow for us. But the name of the game is getting stops and scoring. I think the last game we held Citadel to 39% field goal percentage, but so did we, what I mean? And it's a 2-possession game. So you got to make some shots when you have opportunities. We felt like we had some there. And then when it's time to get a stop, muster up and get one so we can win on the road.
The Southern Conference, we were talking about this even off camera about how deep it is and how competitive the games are. We're saying as well, when you go on the road, it seems like it's tougher now at college basketball. So as you see the Southern Conference unfold, what are your thoughts on those teams?
Yeah, we hadn't played everybody yet, but just knowing the history of the league, I mean, it's hard to win at Greensboro. It's hard to win at Furman. You think what Bucky's doing down at Samford and how he has those guys rolling. I mean, it is a tough league. Chattanooga, I mean, Jake Stevens is playing out of his mind. You know what I mean? I mean, the matchup problem, 7 feet, can shoot the ball outside, can post, he gets assists, rebounds it. So, I mean, it's such a good league for basketball, and it's a blessing to be coaching in it, and it's a blessing right now to be tied with those other teams and figuring out, what the placement is. At the end of the day, we want to be playing our best basketball at the end of February, beginning of March, and that's what we've been selling. So no matter what the record is, we win a ton and we lose a ton now, we're trying to be ascending. So when we get to that mark, we got to win 3 games, 4 games, whatever it is, that we have the muster, that we can muster up and get the job done.
Analytics, coach, it's a big thing now across sports and all of sports. I was curious about which analytics, are big eye catchers or eye poppers for you and the Catamounts.
Yeah, I think, we did a lot of evaluation, and, I have a couple guys on my staff that are, I mean, they're number guys. I'm a little bit
Mm,
more of an eye test, and
mm,
I like to watch and see what they do, but I buy into the numbers as well. And a couple of numbers that came up with us was just being able to understand the 3-point shot, you know what I mean? And then the assisted field goal percentages. Like, if you, a lot of these teams, they're getting over 50% of their field goals assisted. That means that's drive and kick, that's drive and drop off, that's play and, move the ball. So
mhm,
our mindset was, can we take away some of those opportunities? Can we make teams be one-on-one players, and can they beat you in one-on-one game situations? So we do some things differently because of that. Another thing is defensive rebounding percentage.
mhm.
Like, we got to be in the 77, 75. Right? We want to be at the top, one of the top teams in the country is trying to finish out possessions. I think that's really, really huge, because it's one
Mm,
thing to get someone to miss a shot, but
mhm.
it's another thing that they get another shot at it. So
Yeah.
just trying to clean up those things for us is something that we harp on every single day in practice, and then just taking care of the ball. I thought
Mhm.
last year we turned the ball over a little bit too much. I think this year we're doing a way better job at doing that. And you try different tactics in practice. You put different game goals on it, and you just see what works. And then whatever resonates with your group, you just continue to ride it.
Coach Justin Gray up in Cullowhee, North Carolina, the Western Carolina Catamounts, and one of the great shooters of all time at Wake Forest and in the ACC. Coach Gray, it's a pleasure having you on here. I hope we can do this again at some point.
Yes, indeed, Ken. I appreciate your time, and thank you, and go Cats.
Go Cats. There you go.